In the shadow of the Crimson Nebula, the human colony New Horizon clung to the edge of the galaxy, a flicker of light in the uncharted wilderness. Lieutenant Garen Voss, a grizzled exobiologist-turned-militia commander, led a reconnaissance team into the fungal jungles of Thalisra 9 after reports of seismic disturbances. What they found was not a natural disaster. The ground trembled as a towering chitinous figure emerged, a 12-foot alien queen, her carapace cracked and oozing iridescent fluid. Her 6 obsidian eyes locked onto Garen's team, but instead of attacking, she collapsed. Scans revealed advanced biotech implants fused to her spine, malfunctioning. Worse, her reproductive organs were atrophied, she was sterile. Garen, against protocol, ordered her evacuated. The colony's governor, Celine Morrow, protested, "She's a Zenthari brood mother. Their hive glassed 3 colonies last decade." But Garen argued, this queen was different. Her pheromones lacked aggression, and her hive markings were scarred, as if exiled. In the lab, Garen discovered the truth. The Zenthari were dying. Their queens, genetically engineered for endless reproduction, had been driven to infertility by a retrovirus unleashed in the war. This queen, her name untranslatable but akin to Kasari, was the last of her line. Her hive had cast her out for her weakness. When Kasari awoke, she communicated via telepathic resonance. Images flooded Garen's mind, a dying swarm, eggs shriveling in their birthing chambers, and a plea. "You, repair. You, make life." Against all odds, Garen spliced human nanite tech with Zenthari bioengineering. The procedure was blasphemy to both species, mixing human machinery with alien flesh. But when Kasari's atrophied ovipositor flickered to life, glowing with new eggs, Celine's protests turned to stunned silence. Kasari stared at Garen, her mandibles clicking softly. "Human, why?" Garen grinned wearily. "Let's call it a second chance." News of Kasari's recovery spread. The Zenthari hive, detecting her resurgence, descended on New Horizon. Garen's militia scrambled as swarms of winged drones darkened the sky. But Kasari did not rally to her kin. Instead, she unleashed a subsonic shriek, paralyzing the attackers. The hive queen, Vera, manifested via hologram, a monstrous, decaying matriarch. "Traitor! You breed abominations." Kasari's rebuttal was visceral, projections of her healthy eggs, hybridized with human nanites. Vera recoiled. "You taint the swarm." Garen realized the truth, Kasari's offspring were a threat to Vera's decaying lineage. The hive's retrovirus couldn't corrupt human-augmented DNA. But as Kasari's eggs neared maturation, sabotage struck. A fanatical colonist, Jorin Tal, infiltrated the lab, screaming, "You're birthing monsters." He detonated a plasma charge, destroying half the eggs. Kasari's grief was tectonic. She cradled the shattered eggs, her telepathic wail driving humans and Zenthari alike to their knees. Garen, bleeding from shrapnel, gripped her claw. "We'll protect the rest. I swear it." In the aftermath, Celine authorized Project Symbiosis. Kasari's remaining eggs were transferred to a hybrid nursery, a fusion of human tech and Zenthari biopods. Garen and Kasari bonded further, their minds sinking during the procedures. He saw her memories, the hive's cruelty, her exile, her longing for offspring free of endless war. When the next attack came, it was not from the Zenthari. A rogue human faction, the Purifiers, besieged New Horizon, intent on eradicating the alien abomination. Garen and Kasari fought side by side, her claws shredding tanks while he hacked the Purifiers' drones. In the chaos, Kasari shielded Garen from a sniper's shot, her carapace deflecting the round. "You, my swarm now," she pulsed, and Garen laughed despite the pain. Kasari's brood defied all expectations, hybrids of Zenthari biology and human nanotechnology. The infants, no larger than human toddlers, bore iridescent scales and bioluminescent veins. They chirped in harmonic frequencies, bonding instinctively with both species. The colonists named them luminars. But the luminars were unstable. Their nanites fluctuated, threatening to destabilize their cells. Kasari, guided by Garen, learned to modulate her pheromones to calm them. Yet one infant, smaller and weaker, began to fade. Desperate, Garen proposed a neural symbiosis, linking his mind to the child's via Kasari's telepathy. The procedure was agony. Garen's consciousness plunged into the luminar's fracturing mindscape, a storm of alien instincts and human logic. He fought to anchor the child, whispering, "You're not alone." Kasari's presence enveloped them both, her will a fortress against the chaos. When the child stabilized, its scales brightened, and it nuzzled Garen's hand. Kasari named it Vasari, a fusion of Garen's name and her own. The colony rejoiced, but Vera's hive retaliated. They deployed a bioweapon, a phage targeting the luminar's hybrid cells. Kasari's children fell ill, their light dimming. Garen and Selene led a suicide mission to steal a Zenthari gene forge from a derelict hive ship. Inside, they found horrors, drones fused with machinery, birthing pools clogged with rotting eggs. Garen retrieved the gene forge, but Selene sacrificed herself holding off Vera's guards. Back on New Horizon, Kasari fused the gene forge with human medtech, synthesizing a cure. As the luminars recovered, Garen mourned Selene. Kasari rested a claw on his shoulder. She, part of the swarm now. Eternal. Thousands of Zenthari descended, their hive ships blotting out the sun. New Horizon's defenses crumbled. Garen ordered the colony evacuated, but Kasari refused. "My brood fights. Your swarm, my swarm." The luminars, though young, wielded terrifying power. Their bioluminescence could disrupt Zenthari telepathy, turning drones against each other. Vasari, leading the brood, unleashed a pulse that shattered a warship's hull. But Vera herself arrived, a gargantuan queen, her body rotting, her mind unhinged. Kasari dueled her atop the colony's central spire. Claws clashed, acid blood melting steel. Garen, piloting a mech suit, fought beside her, but Vera's psychic screams crippled his systems. "You are nothing," Vera roared. "A sterile failure." Kasari struck her thorax, snarling. "I am mother. You are corpse." As they grappled, Vasari and the luminars channeled their energy into Kasari. Her nanites flared, and with a surge of hybrid power, she tore Vera's core from her chest. The hive queen disintegrated, her swarm collapsing into chaos. Victory was bittersweet. New Horizon lay in ruins, and half the luminars perished. Garen, battered and bleeding, knelt beside Kasari. "We'll rebuild," he vowed. Thalisra, 9, renamed Eden's Cradle, thrived as a joint colony. Humans and Zenthari refugees tilled the soil alongside luminars, their fields glowing with hybrid crops. Kasari, now a matriarch, presided over the Great Nest, a cathedral of flesh and steel where human and Zenthari young were raised together. Garen, his hair streaked with gray, taught tactics to luminar scouts. Vasari, nearly his height, had become a diplomat, bridging the species divides. When a new threat emerged, a corporate warlord seeking to weaponize the luminars, Kasari and Garen stood united. At the Battle of the Silent Star, their combined fleets annihilated the aggressors, proving that symbiosis, not conquest, was the future. In the nest, Kasari watched her brood play with human children. Garen joined her. "Never thought I'd be a grandfather to aliens," he chuckled. Kasari's telepathy softened. "You made me mother. Now we make galaxy new." Above them, the stars burned a little brighter.